Konnichiwa, hello, my name is Miki and welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be testing out Bite Beauty Complexion products. I'm really excited to test these out because I have been seeing this online for a while now. I believe these came out earlier this year. I have the foundation, the primer for dry skin, and I also have the powder. So we're going to be testing all of these out today, and I'm also going to be doing a wear test. Now, if you're new here or you enjoy my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification so you know when my videos are uploaded. And as always, my disclaimer, if you are super sensitive to profanity or if you are easily offended, this is definitely not the place for you. I'm a no filter bitch and I have no idea what's gonna come out of this mouth, so keep that in mind while you're watching. So if you guys are interested in the Bite Beauty Changemaker complexion products, then just stay tuned. So I've been hearing a lot of things about this foundation, but I'm here to give you guys my opinion, my thoughts on these particular products. Now, I haven't done anything to my face today. I've only washed it and moisturized. I do have some eye makeup on. I have the Julep eyeshadow cream to powder eyeshadow stick. I really love these, and that is the shimmer shade that is on my eyelids. And then I have a little bit of some natural Ardell lashes. For these particular products, I got them all in a set. So originally these retail for over $30 each, but I was able to get all of these for $38.55, which is a complete steal because the foundation itself is $39.50, and that's a lot. So first, let's get into the primer. Now, the primer retails for $38 on its own, and there is two different kinds. They have one that is a little bit more mattifying and for oilier skin, and they have this guy, which is the skin optimizing primer, and this is for normal to dry skin. If you guys didn't know, I am a very dry, crusty ass girl. I also suffer from acne, hormonal acne here on the sides of my cheeks. I have a little bit of breakouts going on here, but for the most part my skin has been a lot better. I haven't been getting like super huge deep breakouts that I used to get, and I think my spironolactone is just like really doing its work, and that's why my skin's been so much better. So let's get into some information about the primer. This is a clean, high performance primer with skin optimizing technology to neutralize your skin type and grip foundation for flawless lasting wear. Choose hydrating or mattifying. I absolutely love the packaging for Bite Beauty. It's like this really pretty muted pink, almost like a cream, and it's just super duper pretty. I just really love the packaging. It's super simple and sleek, and I just love it. This claims to have olive oil and hyaluronic acid as well as maki berry. I'm just gonna say it's maki berry, and those are all hydrating ingredients, which I really appreciate because again, your girl is super duper dry. Now I'm gonna open this. Ooh, I love the fact that there is a seal on this tube because I just really hate it when you open a box and there's a tube in there and there's no seal because you don't know if anyone's like messed with it. I like to apply my primer with a brush just because I feel like it really gets into the pores and I feel like my skin is really absorbing the primer. So I'm just gonna take the primer and put it on the back of my hand here. Oh wow, this is a very creamy consistency. I wasn't expecting this to be like a moisturizer, but that's actually what it feels like. It feels very lightweight, almost like a cream gel type of consistency. There's like a very minimal but very clean scent. I'm really actually into the scent of this. It's very light. Now I'm getting a very late start to the day today. It is almost 3:30. I'm gonna try to wear this foundation for at least 6 hours, so that'll give me till maybe around 10 o'clock. So I got the primer all blended out, and it does feel a little tacky, but it's not like super duper tacky or sticky like that, which I really like. It does give me a little bit of a dewy finish. I feel like my cheeks are super hydrated, as well as like my forehead area, which needs a lot of moisture. So I really do like the way this feels because my face actually feels really moisturized. Now let's get into the foundation. I have the shade L10, which is the lightest shade. I'm going to get into some information about this. Now this is called the Changemaker Supercharged Micellar Foundation with Power Pure Maki Berry. I really don't know how to say that word. Now this is 1 fluid ounce, I believe. Yes, this is 1 fluid ounce, and it comes in the same packaging just like the primer here, except without the little gray. This is all pink, and then right here we have like a frosted kind of matte tubing, and I really like this. I'm pretty sure, yep, this is also sealed as well. Now we're just gonna go ahead and put this on the back of my hand because I want to see the consistency. This is actually a lot thicker than I was expecting. I don't know why I thought it was going to be more liquidy. Now, this is a clean, long-wearing foundation fueled by nourishing, antioxidant-rich maki berry for a lightweight, natural finish that feels good on skin. This creamy, lightweight foundation comes in 32 inclusive shades that blend out smoothly, giving you buildable, light to medium coverage that lasts all day. Supercharged with clean ingredients, it was made to look and feel good on all skin types, even sensitive, and it contains less than 1% synthetic fragrance. Now I'm going to be doing a smell test and all that good stuff, and since I already have it on the back of my hand here, I'm just going to spread it out a little bit and take a nice little whiff. Okay, so this, oh, I got some on my nose. This has a very light kind of lotiony scent. If you're someone who has sensitive skin, or you just don't like scent in your foundation or, you know, skin products, then this is definitely light enough for someone who might be sensitive to smell. Just like all my foundation reviews, I'm gonna go in one side with my flat top kabuki brush, and then on the other side, I'm gonna be using my Real Techniques sponge. So I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the flat top kabuki and what's on the back of my hand here, and just start on the right side of my face. So it's going to be the left side for you guys. I am not sure about this shade. This is the lightest shade, and the one above this is like 2 or 3 shades darker. So I didn't really understand the way they did like the light shade ranges. A lot of them are very yellow or olive undertone, and a lot of people who are like me, who are very pale skin, were either very cool tone, neutral tone, or like more of a pink tone. And so I'm not really sure why they went really yellow and orange. As I'm putting this on, it feels a little thicker than I thought it would be, because they do claim that this is very lightweight, but it feels thick, like not super thick and uncomfortable, but it feels thicker than I would imagine a lightweight foundation or a light coverage foundation would feel like. It is very skin-like. I'm noticing that right away, is that it's very light coverage. You can still see a lot of my redness and my acne peeking through. I don't really like the way it looks because it's just such low coverage, and it's making me look a little almost kind of oily, like I've been wearing the foundation for a couple of hours. Another thing I'm noticing is that it's not clinging extremely like harshly to my dry patches, which is great, because most of the time it doesn't matter what kind of foundation, it's going to cling to some of my dryness, because that's just how dry I am. But I think the primer really helped with that, because my skin feels very hydrated. This foundation does not feel tight or drying at all whatsoever. Some foundations can feel really tight as soon as you put them on, because maybe they're mattifying or satin matte, but this actually feels nice and comfortable. Right now, I am not liking how I look at all. It's very porous, like it's accentuating all my pores here. And I mean, look at that. You can see all the potholes in my face, and it's just really accentuating them. Also here, you can tell it's very cakey and cracky already. So far, this foundation is just like a regular lightweight kind of skin tint, if you will, like a tinted moisturizer. That's what it feels like to me. So I do like how lightweight it is. I just really do not like how cakey and creasy it's already getting around my nose. Now I'm going to take the Real Techniques sponge and apply the foundation on this side of my face, the left side, so your guys' right side. I always use my sponges dry because it gives me more coverage. So let's see if the sponge is going to give me a little bit more coverage, because it is dry, but also it might apply a little differently since I'm pushing into the skin rather than buffering it. As for the shade, this is definitely still a little too light for me, like maybe 1 shade too light. And so it's really unfortunate that this is the only shade that will match me, because again, the second shade was too yellow. This is kind of having trouble sticking to my nose, which is something that I'm not going to fault the foundation for, because a lot of times recently I've noticed that whenever I put foundation on, it just does not want to adhere to my nose area. Why? I have no freaking idea. I think it's just one of those things, because we're getting into the drier seasons and just nothing wants to adhere to my super duper dry patches, and my nose is one of the driest areas on my face. This applies so much better with the sponge. It looks a lot more airbrushed, a lot more flawless, and there isn't a lot of texture showing as much as the brush side. Now the brush side gave me a little bit more texture kind of like in the nose crease area, but with the sponge, I was able to kind of like press it into the nose, like crease, the crevice right there. And it doesn't look as cakey and, you know, bunched up as it does on the brush side. So I think this is going to be one of the foundations that you're going to want to apply with a sponge if you want a nice flawless finish to begin with. I'm seeing lighter coverage on the brush side compared to the sponge side. So I'm a little weirded out by that because normally it's the opposite. But yeah, I don't know why, but this side is the brush side and it's less coverage. So I'm going to take what's left on my hand and add a little bit more coverage on the brush side. I'm just going to go ahead and say that if you're going to apply this foundation, you're going to want to apply it with a sponge rather than a brush. Now that I like kind of blended out the side of my nose with this guy, I feel like it looks a lot better. It's not as cakey around the nose. And so I really, really like this application with the sponge. My forehead is usually where I can tell if I'm going to like a foundation or not because I have my frown lines here. So I get a lot of creasing in the middle. Also, it's very, very dry around my eyebrows. And so if the foundation doesn't look good on my forehead, it's usually not going to look good like anywhere else on my face. But so far, I feel like this looks absolutely amazing on my forehead. Like this looks smooth. It looks dewy. There's no creasing at all, which is kind of surprising because normally as soon as I put some foundation on in my crease area, it kind of just sinks into the crease and it looks like a huge crease is already there. I feel like I'm sounding so repetitive today. I apologize. I am just really in a weird place with communicating. I can't really think of the words to say, and I'm still having a little bit of trouble with my trembling. So if my voice sounds a little shaky, that's why. I just can't really get a hold of this trembling. I don't know where it comes from, but I just know that my anxiety is like has been through the roof. And so yeah, if I am jumbling my words together, that is why. So now that I have it all blended out, I'm gonna scoot in closer so you guys can see what's going on this mug. I have a lot of texture around my mouth area, but that has nothing to do with the foundation because this area for some reason just will not let up with the texture. I've done everything from exfoliating to masks to hydrating, everything that I possibly can to get rid of the texture around my mouth, but for some reason it just will not go away. So no matter what foundation I've been wearing, it's always very, very textured around the sides of my mouth here. Now, as you can see, it's already creasing here on my nose. It already looks extremely cakey. This is the brush side that I went over with the sponge. So it still does look cakey, but not as cakey if I were to use just the sponge. So this is the sponge side only. And then this is the sponge and brush sides. I do really like how skin-like it looks. It looks very dewy, very healthy, like the glow from within type of dewiness. And it did give me quite a bit of coverage on the areas where I'm super duper red. Now it is clinging to some dryness, but it's not excessive. Still am not sure how I feel about this. I like the coverage. It is medium, like very light medium coverage, but I like the fact that you can build this up because I did build up the brush side with the sponge. I am just really loving how my forehead looks. Like it looks so freaking good. And my cheek areas here, like it looks really, really healthy. Like I feel like this is the ideal skin I would want it to look like if I didn't have all this dryness and acne. Like this just makes my skin look so much better. The only problem areas I'm having are just like around the nose, but again, that's my fault because it's so dry and just all the texture here. So now the next product we're going to go into is the flexible coverage pressed powder. I can't fucking talk today. I got this in the shade Light 1. Now this retails for $36 and it comes in 8 shades. Now this is a clean talc-free powder made with finely milled volcanic minerals to blur, mattify, and touch up on the go. I love this little compact. It is so freaking cute. I love the color and look at the inside. I love how big the mirror is. The mirror takes up the entire top half of the compact, which I really like because a lot of times compacts always have like some kind of like frame around the mirror, but this one I feel like they really utilize the space inside the compact. Now it also comes with this cute little spongy guy here, which I'm gonna open. It's one of those like super thin kind of like microfiber type of feeling sponges. I don't like how cheap it feels. It feels extremely cheaply made. So I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about applying the powder with this, but I guess we can try. I do really like the fact that there's also 8 shades, because sometimes translucent powder doesn't work for everybody, especially if you're a deeper complexion. A lot of the times translucent powders can show up with a white cast on your face, and you don't want that. So I really like that there's different shades. It says the proof is in the powder. This long wearing super lightweight powder lets you boost your coverage for a silky soft matte finish that melds with your skin. I'm guessing that either means melts with your skin or like mends with your skin. I've never heard of the word melds before. Anyways, it says that's because it's made with antioxidant rich superfood maqui berry and finely milled volcanic minerals, not talc, to blur, control, shine, and mattify. So we're just gonna go in with this. I'm gonna go in with this little guy here, and I'm going to try and add some coverage on the areas where it's a little red and my acne is peeking through, because it does state that it's gonna give you, you know, a little bit more coverage for a silky soft finish, and I want that extra coverage on my problem areas. So, ooh, this is very, very powdery. I don't know if it's because it's the volcanic minerals, but I just lightly tapped a couple times, and it's very, very dusty, very powdery, but I got some powder here on the sponge, and so I'm just gonna go ahead and just, I guess, set the face. Ooh, do you see that? It like instantly oxidized the foundation, or not, maybe not oxidized, but super changed the foundation shade to a more orangey yellow. Like, look at this. Holy crap. I'm not sure how I feel about this powder. Like, right off the bat, it just looks so freaking orange. And holy blur. This definitely blurs the shit out of your skin. I'm gonna go ahead and powder one side of my face and scoot up closer so you guys can see the difference, because holy shit, if you can't tell the difference now, just wait till I get closer. This is kind of making like the sides of my nose a little bit drier and cakier, of course, because this is a powder, but it's not accentuating anything like worse than it was before. It still looks the same amount of cakiness and dryness there. So here is the side I have not set yet. You can still see a lot of my pores. You can still see a lot of my texture, my creasing. I have a little bit of creasing here on the sides. And then this side here, look at that. It has blurred all the pores in this area completely. I am really shocked by that, because that's just really crazy to me. It kind of just like filled in the pores right there. It gave me a little bit of coverage here, but not too much. Maybe like a slight light coverage on top of what I already had. There's indents of my fingers. I don't know if the camera is picking that up, but I have 3 fingerprints right there. So I'm just gonna kind of like try to blend that out. I don't think I'm gonna powder too much on this side because it is kind of creasing and it's picking up a lot more of the texture. I don't know, it's really weird on this texture area here around my mouth because it is blurring it, but it's still textury. Hopefully that makes sense. Probably not. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take my BH Cosmetics vegan powder brush. I absolutely love this for powdering, and I'm just gonna go in one little dab here and tap off the excess and just set the rest of my face with the brush, because sometimes with the brush you can get a lighter application than with a powder puff, and with this I can get a little bit more less powder on my face, so I can still set it but not have all this dryness on the side of my nose because I'm not adding as much powder as I did on this side. I can tell immediately as soon as I put the powder on with the brush that I like the brush application better than the sponge application that came with the powder. It didn't change the foundation shade as much as this side where I really packed on the powder, and so I think that applying the powder with the brush is gonna be a better deal. The one thing I just don't like is how powdery it is. I feel like it's extremely powdery for a pressed powder, but the blur, you guys, is unreal. I just still cannot get over how much it has blurred like this area of my face, the triangular area. I think I want to add a little bit from the puff here onto the porous areas here because I really want to kind of blur this area, and as soon as I add it, it automatically just change. Look at that. The shade is already a little bit more orange. I feel like if you want the blurring, you're gonna have to use the powder puff. But if you want a light set, then you're gonna want to use a brush for the powder to actually set your face. I feel like this actually looks really good on camera. I feel super extremely blurred, like in this triangular area here. The one thing that I don't like though is you can see underneath my eyes, which I did set with the powder, it is just not really blending. You can already tell where the powder kind of starts, which is right there, and it goes down, but it doesn't blend with the foundation very well. So I don't like that. Now that I have all the complexion products, I have the primer, the foundation, and I've set with the powder, I'm gonna go ahead and call the check-in time. It is 3:53, but I'm gonna call the check-in time 3:50 just because it's easier for me to remember, and I have been sitting here talking with you guys with the foundation on. So check-in time is going to be 3:50, so I'm gonna try to wear this for 6 hours, which is basically like 10 o'clock at night. This bitch doesn't go to bed till like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. So I am going to keep this for as long as I possibly can on this mug. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some brows. I'm going to add some powder products to see just how well or not well the other products blend with this foundation and powder combo. And then I will be right back. All right. So I went ahead and did the rest of my makeup and a few things that I want to mention. So for my contour, I used the KVD Vegan Beauty Shade It in Light palette. I used this side with a duo fiber brush. I have this Eco Tools duo fiber brush here. I like to use this for my blush as well as my contour, sometimes bronzer. But the thing with duo fiber brushes is sometimes with certain foundations, it lifts up the foundation while applying whatever powder you're applying to your face. So what happened with these two and this foundation is that it actually picked up a lot of the foundation underneath while applying the contour. And so I advise that if you are wearing this foundation, you do not use any duo fiber brushes because you're going to pick up any of the coverage that the foundation has left you and it's going to be gone. So try not to use duo fiber brushes. Everything else looks completely like blurred. It looks blended. It looks so beautiful. It looks really natural. It's kind of strange to explain because it looks natural, but it still has that coverage. So you're still getting, you know, to hide these kind of like imperfections that you may have, but they're still peeking through just slightly, so you can tell it's still skin. It's not like caked on there. So I really, really like that. Again, the only thing that I'm having problem with is the texture here on the sides of my face and right here on the nose area. Other than that, everything is blurred to fucking perfection, and I just feel like I look super duper flawless. And another thing I'm gonna note is, remember how when I put the pressed powder in with the puff, I didn't like how it kind of changed my skin tone to kind of like a little bit of orange. But now that I'm looking in the viewfinder and like looking in the camera, I kind of like it because it gave me a bronzy glow. So I didn't have to add any bronzer. I only added just a little bit of contour, but I feel like that powder made me feel like I have a bronzy glow right here on my cheeks, and I really, really like it. As of right now, I just really, really am enjoying the way this looks. Like I feel like I look really, really flawless today and really, really good. So we're not gonna know how long this is gonna last, but I will go ahead and do the shit that I gotta do, and I will see you guys in my first check-in. I completely forgot to do a first check-in because I forgot I was even wearing makeup, to be honest. So after I finished filming like the first half of the video, putting on the foundation, I took my lashes off immediately, and then I went to go cook some dinner. Next thing I realized, it's like 9 something, so I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna do like the final check-in. And right now the time is 10:36, so 20 more minutes and I'll have been wearing this for 7 hours. I am really fucking shocked right now, and I'm also a little bit lit, so I apologize. Lately I've been having some trembling issues, and smoking has definitely been helping me like control that and also not have so much of a shaky voice because I'm not trembling inside. So I feel like right now I can actually talk and people can understand me without the little shakiness in my voice. So anyways, let's get back to this foundation. Now I'm gonna scoot up closer so you guys can see like what's really going on my face. I have never had a foundation that has looked this fucking good after 7 hours. This is amazing to me. So everything here on like the cheek area, it looks absolutely amazing. It looks even the same as when I first apply it, maybe even a little better. My cheeks look so good. They still look really, really filtered. Nothing rubbed off, which is crazy because I was actually laying down and watching TV and I was rubbing the blanket on the side of my face and I still don't feel like too much rubbed off, maybe a little bit, but that powder definitely set this foundation like a rock. Like it's barely moved, barely, separated. Now there are some areas that have definitely separated, but this kind of happens on mostly any foundation that I wear, and that is on the sides of my mouth and of course around my nose. Even right now, there is just a lot of creasing and a lot of separating on the sides of my nose. That looks so fucking grody. Oh my god. This area is still very, very texturized, but the one thing that I just love about this foundation that I'm noticing is nothing looks extremely dry on my face. I've never had a foundation feel like this and look like this, especially after 7 hours. By this time, everything feels either one, oily, separated, tight and dry, and so there's always some kind of feeling. But I didn't do my first check-in because I literally forgot I even had makeup on. That's how light all of this feels, and I really, really like it because I can't tell that I'm wearing anything. Even when I was laying on my blanket, I didn't feel any movement. There are some times when I try certain foundations and I end up falling asleep or laying down. If I pull myself away from whatever surface I'm laying on, I can feel that take off the foundation, or the foundation kind of like rubbing around on my skin, moving. With this foundation, I did not feel any of that. This to me is incredibly amazing because not only does the powder help blur, but it also added that really light bronzer type of tint to my face that I really, really liked. And look at it. It hasn't budged like at all. Also, my forehead looks fucking amazing for 7 hours. Normally, this area would be busted up, breaking, like separating, and all I have is like maybe a slight crease line, and that's it. And so I am really excited to try not only this foundation, but also the setting powder with like different foundations and different powders as well. The other thing I'm trying to like wrap my brain around is the fact that when I first put on the foundation, it did feel a little heavier than I was expecting, but as the time went on, like maybe 5-10 minutes, it didn't feel as heavy as it did when I first applied it, especially with the flat top kabuki brush. Even right now, I don't feel like, oh my god, I have to take this off. I feel icky, I feel oily, I feel, broken up in areas. I don't feel any of that. And honestly, I don't know if it's the powder or if it's the foundation or just the combo, but I do have to say that I am really loving this for a first impression. Like so far, I love the way it looks, the way it works, and I think it looks absolutely beautiful on my skin. This is a foundation that I'm probably going to want to wear more in the winter time because I actually look legitimately like hydrated and I'm just so happy about that. So I'm going to be doing a little bit more experimenting with the primer because I want to see again if this like works really well with the foundation and the powder, or if it's all the foundation and you don't really need to invest in the primer, because you guys, these are not cheap. Okay, anything that's over like $35 to me is kind of pricey, and Bite Beauty is not that cheap. So I feel like I need to do a little bit more testing here and see what's really going on, like what's really giving me that hydration. Y'all, I look lit as fuck on camera. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stop embarrassing the shit out of myself, and I'm gonna say that I totally, absolutely am obsessing over this foundation. So that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it for you. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to click that big red button that says subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that bell notification so you know when I upload my videos. And as always, if you have any tips, tricks, questions, comments, or if you simply want to talk shit, leave it all in the comment section below, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.
Should